Hi, everyone. I'm Paul with MadCap Software. In this video, we are going to talk about vanities and host map domains. So exciting, right? All right. So what this is, it has to do with controlling the URLs for your output that you host up on Central. Because out of the box, if you don't do anything at all, you're going to use MadCap Central's their domain, which is mcoutput.com. So it'll start out with your company name, your license, which is usually your company name, mycompany.mcoutput.com, and then the rest of the path, which goes to that specific output. All right. So, and there's parts of that too that you might want to change because you're going to get an auto-generated ID in there. So this video is all about customizing this, and let's do it. In the previous video, I created this site right here, HTML5 private. And if I expand this, so we're on the sites page, I expand that and you can see the live URL here. It starts out with HTTPS fictionsoftinc.mcoutput. Mine says mcoutputqa.com because I'm on a QA server, but yours will be mcoutput.com. There's that auto-generated number, default.htm, just because this happens to be an HTML5 target and I didn't tell it otherwise. So it's going to use default.htm as the entry topic, as the entry page in here. So let's look at the first part of this, Fictionsoft Inc. Now, this is a part that you can actually change. You can't change mcoutput.com, but you could change this other thing. We're going to go here to URLs at the top. And this is the default domain. This is the one that provided by Central. And it's a little hard to see here with this color. But if you click here, you can go to edit and there it is. So this will be set up automatically for you when you first sign up with Central, you subscribe. But you can come in here later and change this. But I would advise you to be careful when you do this, because if you've already got output out there that's using this other domain, then things will break. And so you just want to be aware of that. So I got Fictionsoft Inc. here. I can't change mcoutput.com, but I could change this first part. I could maybe take off the Inc., or maybe my company changes its name or something. I don't know. We'll just call this, we'll just do coolcompany.mcoutput. Mine's qa.com, and we'll just click save. Hey, I'm just going to break into this video for a moment because the UI has changed a bit since the first time I recorded this video. And yes, all that information about how the fact that you can change your vanity is true. However, where you get to your vanity has changed. Yes, you can be in here in the sites, on the sites page, you can click here and select edit. Or you can come up here to your license avatar and select license settings. They're both going to get you to the same place in here on the settings page over on the left. And this is where you would change your vanity. All right, so it's not that other little tiny box anymore. So you can change your vanity here and other things, your license label, your avatar, different things like that. So just wanted to let you know the UI has changed just a bit. So it changes in here. And then if we go back to this sites page, open this, well, now the URL is different. coolcompany.mcoutput.com, blah, 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 blah. All right, so that is how you can change that part of it. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's okay, but I really don't want mcoutput.com. Can't I do anything about that? Yeah, you can have your own domain, and which you would set up with your registrar, and then you can come in and connect it in here. So if you're going to do that, the first thing that you need to do is you want to go to your registrar, GoDaddy or whoever it is, and you create a CNAME, a canonical name. Okay, so actually this is kind of what it might look like. This one, I believe, is from GoDaddy. So you would fill in fields like this, and it's a CNAME, and then you have to put in this case, your host help. So for example, maybe you want your URL to be help.coolcompany.com. And so you would fill that in, and then you need to point to the MadCloud API azurewebsites.net. All right, that is the important part. So you do that and you save it, and now you have created your CNAME, which is going to make all of this work. Okay, so once you get that CNAME done, now you come in to Central, go to the sites page, URLs tab, and you're going to add your own domain. So you click the plus button and you just put it right in here. And I have one that's set up. You just plop it in here. And mine is this. It's fictionsoft.madcaptest1.com. Snazzy, huh? That's what I'm going to use instead of coolcompany.mcoutput.com or fictionsoft.mcoutput.com. I'm going to use that. So I click validate domain and it brings up this page. And now I have to choose an SSL certificate to use with this thing. Now, if you don't have your own, you can just use MadCap Central SSL certificate. But maybe in your company, your IT person says, no, we got to use our own. So you can get that. And then what you do is you would select this one, and then you go choose that SSL certificate that you got from that person, and it would use that. So I'm going to click this, and now it's telling me, okay, you're ready to bind. So I'm going to click bind domain, and SSL certificate. And it goes through the motions in here. And this is just going to take a few minutes until it finishes. Okay, and it finished. It tells me the domain is valid. And here's all the information for it. And so I can just get out of this dialog. Okay, so here it is. Now, how do you put this into action? Well, when I created, when I did the movie on creating sites, these other movies, I showed how when you create the movie, you need to go in and you select the domain. And by default, it's unless you have your own hosted domain, it is going to use the default one. You can see it's set here and it's set in my other sites. But now that I have this new one, I can click in here and choose that. And as soon as I click save, it's going to switch over, and that is going to be the domain that's used. So if I expand this row again, now you can see instead of the cool company thing, it has https fictionsoft.madcaptest1.com and the rest of it. So that's how you do your own host map domain. Now, what else? Well, let's look at the rest of this URL. We got that auto-generated number in there. Well, that is because it takes the place of this information. When you created this site in here, you told it, this is the project, that's the target, that's the branch, and that is the build ID. And so it needs, in place of all of that stuff, it will use this auto-generated number. Maybe you want to use something else in place of this. So in this case, I generated some private output for HTML5, and it's for my Cool Flare project. So I could do something else in here. Come into the profile, and right here in Vanity, maybe I want to do something else like cool HTML5. And, I can do version 1. When you create a vanity, and even when you create the name, it might be good to keep in mind your project name, your target name, and version number if you're doing versioning. And that way you can keep these all separate, and it's easy to see what one is all about. So this one, cool, gives me the idea that, oh yeah, that's from my cool project. HTML5, yeah, it's that target, as opposed to say PDF output, and it's for version 1. Okay, so I am giving it that vanity, and I click save. And now I come in here, it's the first part's the same, fictionsoft.madcaptest1.com, but instead of that auto-generated number, I get cool HTML5 v1. All right, so the URL just makes more sense. It's just more customized to your needs. So that's how to customize your URLs, your vanities, and your host map domain. So if you feel the need to do that, you want to really get in there and make the URLs your own, now you know how to do it. So in the next video in this series, the final video, we're going to take a look at something called themes, where you can control the color scheme for some of the UI that your users, your audience might see.